You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tanya Mazurek.
Welcome to SBA Today for the week of March 18th. I am Paul in boring Seattle, Washington.
And I am Tanya in Key West, Florida. So we had to, pull the whole Key West thing. Anyway.
Show off.
I know, right? Hey, I'm lucky. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the news, however. And what we know about claims, Doge found $312 million in business loans to children. All right. This is on snoops.com or whatever, because Elon Musk put out there, of course, Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. In 2020-2021, SBA granted 5,593 loans for 312,000, or no, that's million. 312 million to borrowers whose only listed owner was 11 years old now, or younger, 11 years old. So, boy, they have made it further than I have made it at this point in my life at my age, right? Anyway.
But I would also like to call out that this is the same person that said that only 5% of SBA loans are repaid. I just want to make sure that we're looking at this the right way.
I think it was 8%. regardless. Anyway, goes on to say, while it is possible to have business arrangements where this is legal, that is highly unlikely for these 5,593 loans. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is I think we've all experienced when we've put in a social security number in E-Tran and it pops up somebody's name and it takes an act of God to get it changed because somewhere there was an error. That happens all the time, and I'm sure that has something to do with it. And I'm sure if it actually, you start peeling back the onion, I highly doubt if a 4-year-old is a guarantor on a loan.
You know what, though, Paul? I'm probably going to disagree on that. I have a feeling that because there is fraud, we all know that there was fraud. Now, is the vast majority in that many fraudulent? Perhaps not, obviously. But do I feel like there are some out there that absolutely went that direction? I do.
I think it depends on the program. Does 7A have those? Because notice this does not say 7A idle, PPP, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say any of that. So I'm curious if idle is more, there's always more facts. Like, I feel like we just don't dig enough.
Wait. What's a fact?
I know. I don't know. We haven't had facts in at least a decade. But yeah, I mean, come on. I think it's probably more in idle. Just because of what that program is, because there's no way that I would, or Tanya would, or anyone probably listening to this would put on a 4-year-old as a frickin' guarantor on a 7A loan. I just can't get it.
I wish I had been 4 and, anyway.
Well, I don't know. You want debt at 4 years old?
Good point. I wish I was a 4-year-old that had the wherewithal and funds that actually could be. Yeah. All right. So the Doge also claimed that it had to do with the social security numbers and the incorrect names and all that. But like you said, it's likely the idle. And you know what, guys? We banks, we had nothing to do with that idle.
That's right. Leave us alone. We were good.
Big banks.
Yep. Anyway. Well, the SBA, the agency last Monday, unveiled the Made in America Manufacturing Initiative. The SBA said that in efforts to attempt to cut $100 billion in regulation, a push that includes the launch of a red tape hotline as a way for small business owners to share feedback on onerous regulations. Now, I have many questions. One, a red tape hotline. Isn't that also known as a, I can't use that word, but a beeline? Like, all you're going to do is just gripe and complain.
Right.
And SBA doesn't have staff to deal with this. So I really look forward to hear what this.
They're fixing to have even less staff. Yeah.
I know. I would love to hear an example of what that would be. And I'm curious because a lot of times, let's be real, sometimes it's the institution causing the red tape, right? I mean, sorry, it's the truth.
Really?
So is it just a gripe hotline? Like, I don't know. That sounds like the worst job ever.
And does anybody actually answer the phone, or is it one of those?
Probably a voicemail.
Exactly.
It's just a
They're
voicemail.
going to set up AI for that. That's a perfect AI thing that you can set up, right? It's like, all right, just call in. Oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Let me help you.
I'm so sorry, Tanya, that your credit score is 2 and that you did not get your loan. Too bad. Call again. I don't know.
You found me out. Anyway.
But they also came out with the Office of Manufacturing and Trade, devoted to training and resources. And I believe that will be replacing the Office of Export, which is interesting on there. God changes. Keep going, Tanya.
All right. So the SBA on Monday also said it wants to expand the use of its 7A working capital pilot program.
Yay.
That is one of the Biden era programs that's designed to fund inventory purchases and other short-term needs. Additionally, the SBA said it wants to reduce barriers to its 504 loan program, which offers loans through a community development corporation to purchase or construct buildings or new facilities, buy land, or purchase heavy long-term machinery and equipment, along with other uses.
So can we please stop talking about political, like there's so much lack of meat in these sentences that it frustrates the hell out of me. Give me meat on the bone. What did you mean by reduce barriers on a 504 program?
I think what you're saying though is where's the beef and or eat more chicken. And yes, okay, the beef committee, you're welcome, and Chick-fil-A, you're welcome for that little plug there. Eat more chicken.
This episode is brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
I know, right? I know. That's like, come on.
Ray, found one.
Ray, sponsor. Okay. The Small Business Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, and Regulation holds hearings on restoring the SBA to its intended mission, serving Main Street. Oh, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, having the SBA focused on the mission and values of what the SBA should be in supporting small business is crucial. We know that. I know that several.
Underline the word should.
Should. Oh, yeah. Good point. Should. I know that several SBA field offices are short on staff. Oh, gee, I wonder why. I know many of them are not necessarily able to help as soon as needed. Therefore, they need to be able to fill that gap along with other resource partners. But the SBA essentially just needs to focus on what they're doing, what they do well, which is really serving small businesses and relying on its partners.
I'm going to stop you there because does that not sound like the same thing with all of us SBA lenders? Do what you do well, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Be in your lane, stay in your niche, do what you do well. Don't try to do what everybody does, right? Just do what you can do. Okay, SBA, same thing. Take your advice.
And so, again, we still don't know all the layoffs that are in SBA. We don't know who. I know a few through the grapevine, which I'll talk about a little later. But my God, we need to be. The BDO show made a good point on the Doge, and that was, they need to be cutting these jobs with a scalpel, not with a bazooka, because there are absolutely some that need to go, but.
Carve out delicately and stuff like
that.
It's kind of like maybe, okay, don't get mad at me, people, but like an ER doc sewing you up and or a plastic surgeon.
Oh, we're a medical show now? Oh, okay.
Well, I have so many stories about that with my kiddos. So many teachings over the years. Anyway, all right. So we've been discussing bloated and duplicative SBA programs, waste taxpayers' dollars, and undermine the effectiveness of services provided to small businesses. So here's a question, and Paul, you get to be Mr. Gutierrez. Could you elaborate, Mr. Gutierrez, Paul, on ways the committee can streamline SBA programs?
So I'm going to summarize what he said. I believe that there's a lot of programs that were created to duplicate some of the services that they've been doing for over 40 years. Okay, I'd be curious to hear a little bit more, but I'm listening. And then also, we do all sorts of stuff so that the money duplicated in the whole agency organization, we're recreating the wheel. We've been doing it for over 40 years. During this time, there was the CARES Act money. This is the part I think is really interesting. There was the CARES Act money. We were allocated a large amount of money. The results doubled and sometimes tripled on some of those areas. And when that funding went away, they were left with pretty much more staff, right? And so, the money dried up, the demand for the services didn't, but staffing's at an all-time high. So, okay, fine.
Interesting. Staffing's at an all-time high. Huh.
We'll see, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, Paul, we kind of got to the end of that, but I really wanted to talk about what we were doing this last Thursday. So I don't know who out there saw our special show brought to you from Coleman, Bob Coleman's, I guess,
Video
SBA
retreat.
Business Awards retreat. It was a couple of 2-day things of different things, right? I just really want to thank Bob for having us there. One, for that, because that was just amazing. The second, for allowing us to have a podcast there with a live audience. That's a first for Paul and I. And we even got to hug for the first time. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if the guy was 5'5", if he was, whatever, right? We've never met in person, which is crazy. And to be in a room with such talent, oh my God. I felt so small in a lot of ways, right? So humbled to be there with such just brilliant people in our industry that, I think everybody should strive to do that every year. So I'm just going to give some kudos to that.
Well,
it was amazing.
And you're right, being able to meet you finally in person and, getting to see so many different people of names that I've kind of known in the industry for a while. But more importantly, the absolute highlight of the trip that made me just want to cry was meeting Mr. Alan Peterson. The jokester himself from the BDO show. What a flippin' character. He is exactly who he is in person, is who he is on the BDO show. Alan, it was awesome to see you as well.
That's so funny because I recognize with so many there. I mean, like even with Paul and I, you see us on here and you have no earthly idea what we're really like. But I think, you get people in person and they typically are very much like they are if they're on these podcasts or if they're on something video. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So we
have a pretty cool industry with absolutely amazing people. We'll do just fine. We'll do just fine.
We will.
Well, I do want to share one more thing quickly on this too.
Sure.
I guess we'll call it a moment of silence. But that we did lose Joel Steiner, who was head of Fresno servicing last Friday. He was a part of the RIFs. Joel was one of the most customer-focused individuals I have ever met. Has helped me with so many different things.
Let's definitely get rid of those that are the
right. See, that's the thing. We're getting rid of some really some real amazing people. And so, Joel, I know you're gonna land on your feet, and wish you truly the best. Well, and that's Paul. That's where it's almost like you wish they had Uber ratings or something for this, right? Well, absolutely. So, if you're gonna get rid of people that you feel like are waste, make dadgum sure it's the ones that truly are, and it's not those that are so helpful for us in the industry, because we're going to feel the pain. Yep. We're going to feel the pain. Amen. Anyway, all right. So we are at the end. You guys, I know you just wish you were here, as you should. This is amazing. Anyway, so we are live on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Key West time, yes. And we'll be back next Tuesday morning. You can catch us right here on LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the streaming platforms where you get your podcast. While you're there, check out our extra episodes that we've already gone through, specifically last Thursday's special edition, because it's amazing. And check out the BDO show while you're there, and the Art of SBA Lending, because they are our partners and we love them. And we love talking to you. We love talking SBA.
If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to Paul or I, either or on LinkedIn, as we'd love to connect with you. Share with your network, guys. That's how we get the word out there. We look forward to seeing you next week. And go be your big bad selves, because if nobody else has told you, we think you're awesome.
See you later.